All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Misfit Corner Comics Presents. This is the artist Andrew speaking, and we are live streaming. Give me just half a second. Let me make sure the audio is coming through okay. You never know.
Live streaming.
All right, it is, so we're good. Let me mute it, and let's get started. All right. So, as you guys know, last week I started working on a new pinup with Crom and Princess and some new bad guy I created, who still doesn't really have a name yet. But I scanned in the sketches that I did, and I'm now going to transfer this over to at least the foreground characters over to a larger piece of paper so that I can start working on it. And of course, I don't have any paper anywhere near me, so let me go grab some real quick. Yeah, I'm always halfway ready. Never ready, you know? But that's okay. All right. Get out a nice big sheet of Bristol board. This is the size that I prefer to work on, which I don't know if I've spoken about it before. I probably have. Is 14 by 17. Now, most normal comic book paper size is 11 by 17, where the live area is 10 by 15. But I like working larger because I just always, the idea of publishing the book of the larger size is always something I like. So Hero was originally supposed to be 8.5 by 11, which is what they consider the European novel album size, I think is what they call it. So that's what I'm always going for. So I do 17 by 14, which once again is a little bit bigger, a little bit wider. All right, now we're going to turn on my little portable light table here. Try not to blind anybody. And let me turn the overhead light off. That'll make it a little bit easier. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm never always ready. I got this song stuck in my head. I'm not sure who actually is the original singer, but it's one of the songs from the animated movie Sing. And I just get it stuck in my head, and it's driving me crazy. But no, I won't sing it for you all. I'll save you guys that trouble. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to quickly sketch out Princess. Just all the normal stuff. I may change some of this later. That's always going to happen, but I just want to get the, where everything is located down. I don't know the name of the song. I'm going to have to look it up. But I've had it stuck in my head all day. Doesn't help that I also played it in the stereo on the car ride into work and home like a dozen times. You ever do that? You ever get a song stuck in your head so you either look it up on YouTube or iTunes or wherever it is you get your music from, and you just play it over and over and over again, and then you can't get it out of your head at all. Yeah, me too. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good enough start. Yeah, one of the reasons I'm being a little looser on this part here is I don't think I have a costume design for the princess for her. So I think I'm going to keep it a little loose until I decide what I'm going to do with her costume and all. I got a rough idea what I'm doing with her, but you never know. It's one of those things where I can change my mind whenever I feel like it. So hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope everybody stayed out of trouble. I I did not get into trouble too much more than usual. So glad about that. All right. We're almost done. Actually, I may go ahead and just sketch out Crom since we're already here. We're already at this stage. And originally I had her holding what was supposed to be a torch, but I think I changed my mind on that. I'm going to have her holding a knife, which I've pretty much drawn her holding a knife in pretty much all the incarnations of her. That's okay, we can keep that loose. But I had a lot of fun. I did an initial design of Crom, which I didn't like, and then I redid it, and I liked it much better like this. He looks very much more imposing, and just like looks like he's attacking, he's out for blood, that type of thing. And I think he has a little bit more personality in this version of the sketch that I did. The other one I didn't really like how it came out. Actually, his eyes should be wider open because he's looking down at her. I think when I initially did the sketch, he was kind of looking straight forward. Like I said, this is just a really rough pencil. Just give me an idea of where everything's supposed to go. All right. Get his flat ears. And I'm glad I decided, this was something I did in last night's video. I was drawing a picture of Crom, and I was debating the idea of changing him around from a jaguar to like a tiger with stripes instead of spots. And honestly, I like that idea so much better. So since he's my character and I can do whatever I want with him. Oh, hey, Burning One, how's it going? We're just doing a quick converting a sketch that I did that I blew up onto a larger piece of paper so that I can work on that. It'll all make sense shortly. This is a pinup idea that I came up with a little while ago. Last week, I should say. And I'm just converting it over so that I can actually do something with it. Just trying to get the... Oh, who's here? What up, man?
It must have been really fun to play with you as a kid at your house.
Why do you say that?
Mine. I can do what I want with them. Not yours. Mine. This isn't yours either. Mine.
Are you trying to tell me you didn't have that conversation with people at your house?
Oh yeah, the big one was when we're at my house, you're the boss. When we're at your house, you're the boss. And you get to the other kid's house, it's like, no, that's not the way it was. What we said is I should be the boss at this house, and you should be the boss at my house. Nah, the 80s.
So how's it going?
I don't feel well. My stomach's killing me, man. Ugh.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You got the corona?
No, I got the damn drinking too much.
Oh.
And it's made my stomach a living hell.
Well,
So it's my fault. So I can't
there's
complain.
from what I understand, there's a simple solution to that one.
Yeah, stop fucking drinking every night.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, but right now, I mean, like legitimately, there was so many plans. Easter would have been a day we went to like a spring or something, and it was gorgeous, and we were just stuck at home.
It
There's not a single beach open. I have 5 kids and myself that's been stuck in this house for 20 days, and it's just
Hey, we got a Rick Piper in the house. Let me bring him on.
pipes.
What's up, Rick?
Yeah.
How's it going, man?
Oh, not much. Yourself?
How's
Good,
Canada?
yourself?
How's Canada treating you?
Yeah, how's the
Good lockdown.
Yeah, lockdown. Is it like it is here that you feel like you're on like lockdown, and every time you look on the internet or the news, but if you go to the store, it looks like no one's on lockdown.
Yeah, that's
In some
actually
ways,
there's a
except you're waiting 20 hours in line for stuff.
Yeah.
well, see here, there's a on the way into work, or actually pretty much on the way into Whataburger, where I still go to get breakfast every morning. There's a Walmart, and I go in there, and they have it limited to 50 people at a time, and I've only ever had to wait in line one time, and that was like the first day they were doing it. And there was this old lady who was they had the line outside. Oh, hey Camille, and hey Dee. Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
I haven't done your thing yet, by the way.
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me Dee's asking for the link. Let me do that real quick. Sorry. Let me turn the lights back on.
Well, if D's coming in, I'm leaving.
Okay. All right, good. I like him better anyway. Oh.
No surprises in my voice.
Yeah. I forgot he's not part of the he's not
I love how
part of
you've
the
taken
Twitter
the
link.
advice that draw streams are one of the most hated streams, and all you do is sit there with the camera on you.
Well, once again. Hold on a
Once
second.
again, what?
It's my live stream.
My
But
house.
what were you saying about your story about
Oh, Walmart. I only ever had to wait
Oh.
one time, and there was an old lady that was like 2 or 3 people ahead of me, and they were limiting the number of people that could get in, and she was holding a spot for one of her friends. And all I'm thinking to myself is, this is how riots start. Old ladies holding a spot. And then when her friend got there, her friend walked past everybody who was in line to get up there with her in order to go into the store ahead of us. And all I could think of is, riots are going to happen.
Yeah. It's a social experiment.
What's up, Mr. D?
I mean, it all might started with a legitimate thing, and Corona is definitely legitimate, but it's still some sort of a. I mean,
Hello,
the
guys.
thing that
Hey, D, how's it going?
the thing that bugs me is every day I've had to delete all my news apps, and
Oh, yeah.
I still get all the numbers, but the numbers are all the deaths or all the
I don't hear
cases.
anybody, so I don't know if I'm on or not.
We can hear you.
you
hear us?
You're here, D.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Yeah, we
thanks
hear
for-
you.
Hey, Piper, thanks for the prayer. I appreciate it.
But yeah,
Well,
it's a 99 to 98. It's a 98 to 99 survival rate with Corona, but they're not showing those numbers on a day-to-day basis. That's
No,
when you start going.
they're just showing that
things
death.
make you go. Hmm.
Well, I figured
Oh, okay. So we're
They're
not
not.
on.
They're showing the deaths, not who's recovered.
What's that? I'm sorry.
they're talking about the coronavirus and the news and the numbers that they're reporting.
Yeah.
You really got to follow along when Kodiak tries to derail the conversation.
Oh, I can't hear them, so I think I'm gonna back
Oh.
out and get back in. I'm gonna leave
Okay.
and come back in.
Okay, go ahead.
The only person I can hear is you, Piper.
Piper, say okay. Go ahead. Say see you when you get back.
See you when you get back.
Okay, but hey, thanks for the prayers, man. I appreciate it.
Rick, did
Oh,
you hear
no
what
problem.
did you hear what he said? Okay.
I think
Yeah.
Piper is a little delayed. Internet sucks right now. Internet sucked until it's gonna suck until the corona's over.
Why does the top of your screen, Piper, say welcome?
He's got
Because I'm using my
runs
OBS as a virtual.
Oh, okay.
I've got a virtual cam with OBS. So I come in and have my camera be virtual cam, so I can just switch from things on my OBS.
So that's probably
It
what's
said "Welcome to High Noon" a second ago.
yeah. So that's probably what's slowing him down just a slight bit is because he's using the OBS. So
using the
I
OBS
usually use
on the
it.
internet.
yeah, I know, and
usually
you're
use it.
you're
but I
usually
don't
got a
know what's
little.
doing it
You usually have a little bit of delay, so it's all right. That's all right. So how?
Hey guys.
AD, we can hear you good.
If you're not gonna be in there, turn that light off.
Can you hear us? Okay.
We hear ya.
Yes, now I can.
All right. Oh, man.
Nobody can tell me what to do. I'm a rebel breaking the curfew.
Did you?
Cringe rap.
Did you-
Cringe rap.
Kodiak, did you see any of my live stream yesterday?
No, I didn't.
I told a story and it was important.
Yeah,
So I'll tell you the story now again. It's real short. It's real simple. Saturday afternoon, around 2, 3 o'clock, Mike and I decided to just swing by the comic book store, one of the regular places I go, and just see if he's open, because I knew he was supposed to be closed because, of course, he doesn't sell essential stuff. Well, we drove by, and his sign said open. So I said, crap, I hadn't been in there all week. Let me go in and see what's going on. So as we got out of the car, there's nobody in the parking lot, really. And over his open sign, he had another little sign that says, "This store sells essential items." And he and I had talked about this. And I went in, and I said hello to him, and I went in and went to talk to him. And then he had moved some stuff near the register away, and he had rolls of toilet paper, rolls of paper towels, canned goods and stuff that he had bought, and some of the toilet paper and paper towels he already had because he has a bathroom for his game room, so he's got that stuff stocked. And he was telling me that the day after the shutdown was supposed to go into effect, one of his regulars, who was a police officer, came into the store to pick up his pull. And he showed him what he had done and explained it to him. And the police officer told him, "Dude, you're golden. You're following the rules and you're staying within the parameters. And as if you have these items for sale, you are more than welcome to be open, and nobody's going to harass you."
Yeah, my mother-in-law did something similar over there at the other flea market.
The only problem was traffic to the store. At that point on a Saturday, this was like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we were the third customer in the store. Or he had only had 3 customers prior to us, which is that's like not even a half hour on a regular Saturday. And he'd been open since at least 10. So
I don't know how many comic book shops would have actually done this, but if they've incorporated themselves, I would run to the file of bankruptcy, get the hell out. I would get the hell out as soon as possible. Well, you might want to wait to see what kind of small business offers might come to the table, but
yeah,
I
well,
would jump ship so fast on that burning.
for comic book stores that rely on weekly comics in order to get the weekly customers to come in, this is going to be difficult. But for comic book stores like mine, which I rely on weekly customers, but I also don't rely on weekly comic books. So
Yeah.
now,
Did you hear Cecil's? I didn't know how much comics Cecil actually used to have. He said he used to be a $400 a month guy, and then he just kept reading Marvel, and he's like, "What's wrong with me? Why don't I like this anymore?" And then he just realized, "Hey, it's not me." So he cut down on all Marvel. He's just like done with Marvel. But he's still getting DC in his other pool. And he said he remembered the day he walked into the comic book guy and said, "I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with comic books." And the guy was just like, he said his literal mouth dropped. He's like, "Dude, you can't do this to me." He's like, "You're $400 a month." It's like, damn. When you quit, when you come in and say, Can't you? He's like, you're really canceling your pull. You know, my dad, when he passed away, I went into Phi over there at Suncoast Comics,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him, and he's like, I wondered why he wasn't in here for a couple weeks. I'm like, yeah, it took me 2 or 3 weeks before I was able to come in. He's like, well, I have. You know, he had like, I think he thought I was going to purchase them, but there was no way to do that monetarily right then.
Right.
Yeah, he had like almost 1,000. My dad was a big pull.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
I'm always wondering how he would feel being the guy that's at one time had every Marvel comic from their inception. Once they labeled themselves Marvel, and then tons of Silver Age before that, all the way to Flash, and his mom had given him comic books, so he had probably had a couple things. Now he lost that collection, but regardless, I always wondered when this hit, how would he be quit, or would he go into buying comics books? How would he react? Because I know he would have hated the stuff that's out there.
Well, if you think about it, I have been a collector of comics since I was a teenager. And even though I don't buy Marvel and DC regular anymore, I still buy back issues. You know, I still buy the independents that I like. I still follow certain artists that I like. Even though I've been turned off by Marvel and DC, I still find something in the medium I enjoy. And if somebody was a die-hard follower of Marvel and DC and they got tired of it, there is so much other stuff out there. Your dad probably would have found something else. He would.
Yeah, he was doing an eBay type thing, Amazon type thing before the internet was even doing that, where you would pay it. You remember at the back of the books it would say send $2 for my list, and
Right.
people would trade books, and that's how he was trying to build up his Silver Age that had gotten lost, you know, which was never ever. It was always a wimpy rebuild for those books. But anyways, it was coverless and damaged books. But anyways, so they would do that vice versa, and that was big for a while, around 98, 96.
Yeah. I knew a guy who had a pretty big collection, and one of his all-time goals was to have every Spider-Man issue all the way back to Amazing Fantasies 15. Or was it 27? No, that was Batman.
15.
Was 27.
15.
It was Spider-Man 15, right?
Yeah.
We got nothing but numbers in our head here. But he finally completed his run a couple of years ago, and I've picked up some Spider-Man issues, like Dan Slott Spider-Man, and some really, really bad Spider-Man issues. And all I could think of is, I wonder if he's got these too. He probably does, you know, because he's got the collector mentality. He's got the completist mentality. He's gonna have to buy these things.
These guys
him,
are the guys that they based the bag and board on. These guys were taking care of their books.
Oh yeah,
Before it was popular to take care of your books, and I remember Mom always saying that when they moved from San Antonio, that base down there that he was stationed at, she had mentioned we might not have room for all the books, and he's like, well, then you're sitting on the roof. And she said, I actually think he was serious.
Yeah, I'm gonna focus on Rick for a few minutes here, since he's the only one here drawing.
Draw
Draw
a picture.
Yeah.
Draw all day
just-
long. Dang, that's a good picture, Rick.
Yeah. Well, we're also looking at it at
Get this up and go.
a funky angles too. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
how's
still pretty good.
so Rick? How's Canadian Shield coming along? On schedule?
Oh, good. On schedule, no, but hopefully still on time.
Okay.
Yeah. On schedule would be already finished color and all that,
Mhm.
and you guys would be getting your books.
If you're a little, I
Brandon's
don't think people
taking a
care.
little bit.
If you're a little late, I think everyone's be forgiving as long as you tell them what's going on. So
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah, as
that's a
long
big
as you-
deal.
Yeah,
As long as you have the communication going, you know.
yeah. I'm open. You know, like I'm telling people on my show. You know, pretty much every day or once a week, a little bit of what's going on. You know, right now I'm being a little bit slow myself because I've got the 15 pages from Pope Raven. I've got them all lettered, and I'm just going over tweaking some of the coloring and noticing some spots where I messed up in inking. Like
I saw Dillard posted some new stuff. Is he adding pages to the Ashcan?
well, it is 14 pages in itself.
Mhm.
But because as you know, comic books are doing them only divisible by 4. He's doing a page epilogue of something with some older woman at a ticket counter.
Okay.
I'm not sure to whatever. I haven't read it. He finished all his lettering, I believe. So he's just trying to find what he's fitting in on. He's obviously got the cover, but there's the inside front cover, there's the inside back cover, and of course there's the outside the back cover. So
Okay.
he's just trying to figure out what's going on there. But other than that, the buckler's pretty much done, I'd say.
Okay. Excellent. Oh, I think I froze.
Also, I think Dillard mentioned something along the lines that he's probably going to do a Buckler Indiegogo campaign eventually.
Yeah, he is. This is for this. The Ashcan is a lead up to that. This is Ascendancy or Descendancy, and this is how he becomes the villain. And I forget what the next one's called. What his is going to be called the actual campaign for the Buckler.
All right. Very cool. Oh, Avery's here. Hold on a second. Let me bring him in. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? How you guys doing?
Not too bad.
Yo.
Oh, D. Avery says hi.
Oh, hello, Avery. I can't hear him at all. I'm sorry.
Really?
Maybe I need to jump out and come back in again.
Yeah, it's been being weird. Can Avery hear me?
Yeah, I hear.
Because that's what happened to D. He came in, he couldn't hear any. That's old school problems right there.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump out and jump back in. But
Okay.
yeah, Avery, nice hearing from you, even though I'm not hearing from you.
Oh man.
Well, you guys missed a really great
Hey,
show
Rick.
Sunday.
Hey, Avery.
How you doing, man? No one cares about your show,
Oh,
man. We didn't miss nothing, Andrew. You shut up. I'm saying hi to Rick. I hadn't spoke to Rick in a long time. Shut up.
I did a drawing session. I did a peep show. I did the last, most current peep show. You
Yeah,
guys missed it? So,
I looked and I was like, oh god, he's got a peep in his hand. I'm out.
Don't worry. I clipped that part and made it into a separate video just for you guys.
Yeah, I don't watch your videos.
I know, but I
I would just imagine bleeping Andrew. Oh my god, he's got a beep in his hand.
Yeah. I checked it on the stream. He had a peep in his hand. I said, nope.
Smart man.
Oh, shut up! It's fun, and you guys know it.
Oh,
actually,
you just
one of
didn't
the-
want to hear. You just didn't want to hear a peep out of him.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I was talking on the stream about is that I had been thinking about what my channel was about, and it's more or less everything that I'm doing for the channel is related to the store. And then I said to myself, except of course the peep show. The peep show is just for fun. And then I realized that today is the first day after Easter, which meant all the Easter candy was 50% off. So needless to say, I went and stocked up on some fun flavored peeps to have that I can actually have in the store.
Yeah. That makes sense during a pandemic. That's totally essential.
That's right. It is. All the stores are all going to open back up again soon. So
It's
essential.
It is.
It's essential to his channel.
this is how it ends. Not with a bang, but with a whimper.
Yep. All I think is that's political. Never mind.
when everything gets back to normal and stuff starts opening back up again, and it all will happen. It will absolutely all happen.
MOON. That spells peep show.
My store is going to be ready. I've right in my store. I'm next time I go in, I'll make a video just to show everybody. But I usually have 2 boxes with new $1 comics and new $2 and up comics. I actually have like 6 boxes of new books in there, plus 2 new boxes of a special deal that we're doing, 10 for $1 comics.
Can I say one paragraph that's sort of political?
Yeah, make it quick.
Okay. It just feels like everybody's just hankering, like no matter when he ends it, they're like, give us ammo. Wait for it. Wait for it. He ended it. Attack him. Attack. See what I mean?
What?
President Trump, the second he ends it, he's talking about, hey, this might cause more damage. And they're just revving their engines.
It doesn't matter what he does.
Exactly.
He's going to get, yeah.
But
Okay.
this one they can finally say it cost lives, and it's going to be a big, oh God, I'm sick of hearing that thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's so
Either
funny.
way, it is.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny is I actually heard him say this is somewhat political, and I didn't realize he was talking about Trump at the time. Oh well. Well, Avery, I had
Uh-oh.
actually. You know what? Never mind. I'm going to save this for whenever Todd joins because he's more into it than you would be. But I had a theory on something, and it's more about business related stuff. So I'll wait till Todd's on because he actually would argue it with
yes,
you guys, which
Andrew,
is,
movies do sell more books.
you guys would just crap all over it. So
I just gave you the answer that Todd's going to give you.
Whatever it is, Andrew, it's a bad idea.
Unless it's movies sell more books.
actually, Kodiak already knows it because he was there when I was making the argument. We have
I don't know right now because I never know what you're talking about.
we have a tendency to drown on after the shows are over, and I had come up with a theory, and it was a really good one. And needless to say, shut up.
You were like dancing. You had to pee so bad, and you just kept coming back.
It's a beat. He's talking. You got to stop stockpiling the candy. Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, see, now you're going to make me show you what I got. All right, I'll be right back.
Everybody else is like stockpiling ammo or like food, toilet paper. Andrew, gotta get all the peeps.
Yeah, I know.
If
Grab
we
all
to
that
get some
candy.
peeps or something we don't want to see. We should all be quiet.
Now,
Like
everybody leave.
we're not here no more.
Yeah, I'm laughing at all the people stockpiling ammo. It's like, I still got mine.
Hey, you guys are lucky being in Florida. I live in California, and you have to jump through hoops to try and buy ammo in California.
Why not move back to America?
I have too much connections in California. That's the only reason why. Plus,
Yeah.
I grabbed my guns on.
Oh dear God, Andrew! Oh my God, he's stockpiling peeps. What are you doing?
That is seriously the most degenerate, disgusting thing
That
I've ever
is
seen
where
in my
we-
life.
I've
We
got
officially think you have a problem, dude.
root beer flavored Peeps, party
Oh.
cake, fruit punch. Which, if you guys remember the Peeps series, fruit punch is probably one of the best ones out there. Watermelon, which is disgusting, but my wife really
Why
likes
did you stock up on peeps you've already done shows on?
I'll be right back.
to sell them in the store.
Oh, it's an addiction.
Cotton candy,
Oh,
and I think they're. I think
I've never been more embarrassed to know you than right now.
I think I have. Oh, I think I only found
That's
one
saying a lot.
blue raspberry.
hey,
So I'll have to.
hey.
I'm gonna have to hit the store
Avery,
again. and see if
he can sell them in the store now and become essential. He can now open up his comic shop again.
You do that, and I am coming down to the comic shop finally, and you're not going to like what happens.
Show our names.
I only found
Avery.
one blue raspberry.
Avery, you need to go down there and just light that all on fire.
Yeah, dude.
You know what? You can absolutely do that, but you got to pay for them all.
No.
You can burn Peep Show Intervention. No, you spelt it wrong. It's Peeps with an S Show Intervention. Come on, Kodiak. You're the one that named the damn show.
Whatever it is, you have a problem, and we should talk.
This is the. I wish to God Todd was here so he can see this obscenity.
I'm gonna walk up to you one day and be like, "Dude, I got the good stuff." I'm gonna open my coat, and it's gonna be all peeps. I got the good stuff. I know you're hurting for
I can't
it.
hear Kodiak. I guess I'm gonna log off one more time.
Oh God,
Andrew, that is fucking vile.
Like I said, the idea is that
D, we lost D.
yeah,
no, he
he's
said he's got to come back.
He's gonna.
Okay, I could barely hear him.
Hey, Sky, how's it going? So,
I messed him up when I went out and came back in.
in other words, what I was saying is that the channel is all related to the store.
Furries.
The one thing that I didn't have that was associated with the channel in the store was Peeps. Now, I have a stack of Peeps that I'll have for sale in the store.
If money ever comes back in my life, I'm buying you a gift of a Peep press.
Oh, I would love a Peep press. That'd be fantastic.
Make
In
your
the
own
shape
beats.
of dongs.
No, that would not be fantastic.
In the shape of that would be hilarious.
Hey, did anybody here watch your boy Zach's video that he made talking about the Mary Sue article about the post office going away?
I've been out of touch on a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he got me curious because what he was describing was some of the most horrifically bad news articles that were on the Mary Sue, and we've got to go there and check them out. We've
I'm
got
sure
to
it's
go
cancer.
there and check those out probably on a regular basis. So I'm
Yeah.
going to do some research, and we may have to make a
Sure.
Mary Sue segment. I mean,
I'm sure it's pure cringe.
we already do Bleeding Cool, and we already do, Bounding into Comics. We talk about their articles from time to time, especially if there's anything interesting. And I just quickly went over to Bounding into Comic. There's nothing going on over there, really.
No. They're not. Bounding into Comics isn't out of control.
No, they're not out of control. But I mean, they're talking about Daisy Ridley upset about how people are responding to Star Wars. It's like, who cares? Let's talk about something that affects the comic book world in totality, not just a small group of
I'd
people.
be more concerned about how Star Wars affected my career, Daisy.
Yeah, she's probably done.
Yeah.
She's cute. She's probably going to be okay.
No, Hollywood throws cute girls away every day.
Yeah, and
It only
she's
takes
got-
one. It doesn't. If you could be the new cute thing and you do one too many movies that bomb or one big bomb, and they just throw you away.
And she's got too much of that complaint factor that she's fell into that everybody had the past couple of years. She complains that you don't
Yeah.
like her movie.
Everybody's disposable in that machine.
Yep.
I know that's the sad part about like I live near Hollywood and there's so many hot chicks here. I imagine Florida has the same problem.
Yeah.
No.
yeah.
They're like a
Yeah,
dime
oh.
a dozen.
We need a new pretty face to put on the movie. Quick, throw a rock.
Yes,
Right.
Yes. Pretty much like that.
This is why I know, even though he's horrible, I just know that Weinstein was thrown to the wolves. He was sacrificed, if you will.
Yeah.
They were
But
all friends with him.
It was no secret. All the people going, I had no idea, had been making jokes about him doing that kind of stuff for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Like it
I
was
don't
a
even
public
look at it.
secret.
I see
Yeah.
all those people in the South Jew bashing again.
Oh,
Yeah,
Of course.
I just hold on a second. I got to read this email. I'm not to you guys. You guys,
Jew-bashing,
you
I'm
guys
Jew-banging because God's my baby.
No.
I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're all right. What are you doing, Andrew?
I
Oh.
finally got an email from the Small Business Administration. I applied for the injury disaster loan thing for small businesses
Mhm.
back like 2 weeks ago, and one of the things they said is you'll get an email from us within 3 to 5 days. Well, it's been 2 weeks, and I just now got the email,
Yes.
so I was reading it to see what all's
Okay.
happening with it.
Show
much money
Todd
you
your
getting?
big box of sadness that you showed
Yeah.
us.
Big box. sadness.
The big box of disappointment.
What's the box of disappointment?
Get ready, Todd.
Wait.
Get ready.
Get
Get
ready.
ready.
I know what it is.
Get,
I know what it
get-
is. Wait.
Todd,
I know what it is.
embrace-
I know what it is. Let me guess. Let me
Okay.
guess. Is the big box of sadness your apartment?
That's the
Don't
other
take that from him. Don't take that. Get him. Get him.
Was that supposed to be funny? I don't get it.
Oh.
Todd, what I was saying
Yeah.
yesterday, 'cause since none of you watched my live stream yesterday, which was actually a really good show, It was by my
No.
standards, it was a good show. I was talking about my channel and how I had kind of changed the focus of my channel, where pretty much all the videos that I make on the channel are related to the store, whether it's original art, whether it's comics, whether it's toys, Legos, all that stuff. And then I said, except for the Peep Show. The Peep Show is just something I do for fun. And then I realized that Easter was Sunday, which meant Monday, all Easter candy goes 50% off.
Oh no!
So I'm going to go to the store Monday morning, which I did. Actually, I went twice, and stocked up on some flavored Peeps
Pepto-Bismol.
in order to
oh Jesus!
bring to the store. And
Yeah.
I've got cake, birthday party cake, root beer float, blue raspberry, fruit punch, cotton candy, sour watermelon. So
I'm
I've got
taking a picture because literally no one would believe me if I told them that. Hey, this is my friend. He's a diabetic. Look what he bought.
Dude, that's gotta be a meme. You gotta make that as a meme.
guys, I'm not
Andrew is a walking
all
meme.
those. I'm not eating all those. I'm taking them to sell.
It doesn't matter. It's still hysterical. A
You
picture
bought
of
it.
you that says that, and us.
Whatever makes you
and us
sleep
to
at night,
tweet that.
Andrew.
And I'm gonna
It's
buy.
like an alcoholic that buys a
That's a
truck full of beer and says it's not mine.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an alcoholic owning a bar.
Yeah.
That's exactly what my store is. Comics, original art, toys, and Peeps. I mean, it's me. It's everything that I love. What do you think?
Hey, there's one other thing that videos that you put on your channel that have nothing to do with your comic store.
Yes.
Your scam videos.
Yeah, I know. I kind of try to ignore the fact that those happen, but they're too much fun. I like
To
to.
ignore the fact that they happen.
Well, the other story that I told during my last live stream is that my local comic book store is still open. And the reason he's still open is because he has a sign up saying he sells essential items, and he has toilet paper and paper towels there. And so, in other words, I was able to get some new comics. So how would you guys like to take a quick look at a few new comics?
You got new comics?
I got new comics to share.
He got some new 50 Cent comics.
I know. It's fine. That's
Oh, thank
better
God he
than-
left. Oh, I was about to say, it's like, oh, we were free from his own show. No. What? Wait, don't be angry.
I wasn't angry. I just... Oh, wait a minute. I guess switch the cameras around.
You're angry. Wait, what are you doing?
What in Christ's name is that?
That wasn't me.
Somebody stole something from SpongeBob or something?
Oh, guys, please don't steal stuff from SpongeBob and put it on my channel. That's the last thing I need.
Or Ren and Stimpy? Or
Diddle-diddle-doo.
All right, let me grab my little stack.
Little,
Wait till after the show to grab your stack.
All right, guys.
Please don't let this be as disappointing as you having the box of Peeps.
We've got issues, guys.
It's starting off weak.
What are you talking about? This is Andy, or is it Andy or Adam? It's Adam Kubert.
I don't care.
This is
I don't care. It's too new.
I really like this character, the redesign of Scorpion. I think she's a cool looking character. I don't know if her character itself is good. I just
Is
like.
that the same the Spider-Man villain Scorpion?
Well, no. They created a new one. In the pages of, it was like,
Yeah.
wasn't Marvel Comics Presents? It was like, I forget, Tales to
Yeah,
Astonish or something.
I
Yeah, they
remember
actually.
seeing her for the first time.
Yeah, they actually had James Jean was doing the covers, which I think that was one of the reasons why I liked it. But I saw her on this cover and said I got to pick it up. So, but it's Adam Kubert, so it's cool. I've got another Amazing Spider-Man. This is the Nick Spencer Humberto Ramos, the newer version of Spider-Man. I got some great.
You didn't get the reason behind that cover. What year was that?
Which
I'm
one?
sorry,
This one?
A lot I was eating my food. Yeah.
This
Isn't he
is
drinking a milkshake? What year is that?
2018.
Yep.
Looks like a soda, but I don't know. Maybe.
come on.
This is one that if they ever reprint it, they'll ban it because they won't be in a bar.
It's not a bar. It's a diner. And he's drinking a milkshake.
That's right. That's right. All right, here we got some classic Avengers.
That's a decent book.
Got a 327. Actually, this one,
I had that one for a while.
the interior by Paul Ryan is just fantastic.
Yeah, it looks
I
great.
actually read this issue and I enjoyed it a lot. This is a really great issue. We got another one. This is 362. This is when it started to kind of go a little downhill. This era. This is the this interior is Steve Epting, but yeah, 93. Oh no, it's not. It's Gordon Purcell on interior. It's just not that good. The interior art's just not that good, and the coloring was really bad too.
The cover is not too bad though.
Oh, check it out, Todd! Look what I found for you.
Oh, awesome. Hell
Another
yeah.
issue of Superpowers.
Mhm.
Oh, by the way, did you know there were?
Oh, I need that.
Did
Todd,
you know?
do you really want that?
Yeah, it's Jack Kirby.
Todd, did you know there were actually 2 series of Superpowers?
I want it because
No, I
it's
had no
super powers. I love that stuff.
Yeah, because one of them was like a
Yeah.
4-issue limited series, and the other was like a 5-issue limited series. Because I had like duplicates of numbers, but they were different issues.
Oh, my
So it turns
childhood.
out there's
was
at
one
least 2
page.
series in there. So
Look
yeah,
at
I've
that.
got a bunch of them. I've got a bunch of them from both series.
this is actually Carmen Infantino on pencils in this one.
Okay.
You know they SJW cupped Sam.
Oh my
the
gosh,
Sam,
was
right?
that an advertisement for Underoos? Oh my gosh, it is.
Was that Dark Side in a cape on the front and the splash page?
It's Mask Underoos.
He's busy looking at underwear.
He's busy looking at little boys in their underwear.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I knew you would. Yes,
Dark-
he's in a cape. Why is he in a cape?
Dark Side in a cape. I
Oh,
have
he
no
did come
idea.
with-
That's
the toy
weird.
came with- no, the toy came with the cape. I forgot about that.
What?
Really?
Yeah. I had the Dark Side Superpowers toy I played with.
That's weird.
That's
What was
crazy.
the superpowers about?
They were just toys.
It was to sell a toy line. The
Typical
It
80s.
was a Super Friend. It was basically the Super Friends because it was called the Superpower Hour, Superpowers Hour, or something like that.
got a copy of
Hey
Wild-
Rick, why are you in a tin can?
I don't know because I got a shitty computer.
We have a
That
copy.
Wildcats right there. I just took apart and put on my wall.
Wildcats #1.
Classic.
Jim Lee. Jim Lee before he cucked. Um,
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
Batman and the Signal.
What the hell is that?
This is a limited series, a 3-issue limited series by Cully Hamner did the interior art, which is actually pretty good. But it was a series promoting Batman's new ward or whatever he was, the Signal.
Partner. He's not a sidekick. He's a partner or whatever.
Yes, yes. We got Justice League #44. This is from the New 52 era with
I
Jason
just like how we
Havoc.
just glossed over the fact that you called Jim Lee a cuck.
Dude, that's a lyric in one of our songs that we're working on, by the way.
You're working on a song?
Some cringe rap songs. We got a Spider-Man
Nothing
issue.
says cringe like a guy in his mid-40s that's never rapped before trying to rap.
I know it's going to be horrible. It's going to be great. This is Superman. This is the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Did I say Superman?
Uh-huh.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah, yeah.
Number 15. So
What's the difference?
Cooch Doodle.
check this
Oh.
out.
They're both pencils down.
This is the collector's preview for Generation X. This was before the first issue came out. They did this preview book with a wraparound cover. What I think so funny is they highlighted Mondo here, but he wasn't introduced till like the annual, but he was.
Well, that was the cover to #1, though.
No, this is not the cover to #1.
It is.
No, it's not. I had #1 in here just a few days ago. That's not the cover to #1. But it has all the character designs by Bacalo, Chris Bacalo, and so forth. But
Blah.
no, this is not the cover to #1. Matter of fact, the cover to #1 had everybody coming at Emplate, or the bad guy, whatever his
What's the
name
date
was.
on that?
Yeah, 94.
I'm not sure about that. I've got the
94.
#1 cover.
Check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Codename Black and White by Art T. Bear.
Oh.
A little Artie Bear.
Is that the new one or
No, it's the original.
Oh, the original.
No, this is
Is
from
anybody can you put that in my pile?
this is from let me
That would
see,
actually, I need to actually show up.
February 1996.
He's not
Ugh.
He's not musically inclined.
Who's not?
Andrew. D's
Oh.
like, I didn't know you were musically inclined in the chat, and I'm like, he's not.
I'm not. That's what's going to make it so funny.
It's
We have an issue of the Shaolin Cowboy, issue number 3, Who Will Stop the Rain, where he fights a talking pig, who also, for some reason, knows kung fu. But yeah,
sure.
Big Fu.
actually, I found a couple of these, Todd. You might be interested in these. These are Divine Right.
I can't find anything on the Divine Right but the ones that he did with DC, and it's not
Isn't
the ones I like.
Isn't it weird how he has pages in here with just nothing but people's heads? You know.
Yeah, well, had to hit a deadline there.
Yeah, that is true. And I think he was
Well,
actually.
he certainly was.
I think he was,
Well, he certainly wasn't ahead of the game with that.
he was phoning it in by them days anyways. He was almost out of the Image game.
I want to point something out to you guys. Have you ever watched one of Ethan's live streams? Do you ever
No.
hear any of the people on the panel interrupting Ethan when
Every second of every stream, legit.
bullshit? It doesn't happen. He starts talking, everybody on the panel quiets down to hear what he has to say.
That's because he commands respect.
Because it's his channel and his live stream. I'm only pointing that out.
I love how you just feel.
I'm only
Todd
pointing
and
that out.
Avery are not going to leave you alone.
I'm only pointing that out because I've had to mute people more and more often lately. And I hate doing it. I hate having to mute you guys. I hate having to slap you on the wrist like children.
Well, it's nice of you to have dreams.
Avery left.
He's tired of all your childish antics. That's it. That's what's happening. He's as upset as I am at the lack of decorum and respect for the channel owner.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of Avery.
I don't think so.
All right. So back to the comics.
Hey, Andrew,
Yes.
if you were Ethan Van Sciver, I wouldn't interrupt you either.
All right. So back to the comics.
Look, at the end of the day, you're only about $1.997 million away from having that kind of respect.
Do you respect him for his money?
Sure.
I don't respect him for his money. I respect him for what he's done, for what
Made a lot
incredible
of money. That's
audience
right.
he's been able to build and so forth. And
Yeah.
the fact that you guys have just let me put it this way. They always tell you when you become rich and famous and powerful to remember the little people. I am not going to remember the little people that kept interrupting me while I was trying to show off comics. That's all I'm going to say. That's a fair warning, don't you
It's
think?
funny that somebody that's 4'3" called me a
Well,
little prick.
I swear to God, everybody out there, the joke that he's tried to tell is we met up, and I swore in my mind Kodiak was a short guy. And he's not. He's tall. He's bigger than I am. You know, he's much bigger than I am, but he's much taller than I am, which shocked the crap out of me. So,
Hey, was that a fat joke? I resemble that remark.
no. I imagined you were short and round. You're actually tall and round. So, I mean,
Well, guess what? I'd probably interrupt Ethan if I got to know him as buddy as I do you guys. So.
no, I think you all are full of crap. If you guys were on his stream and he started to talk, you wouldn't.
It depends on what show you're on. If you're on Jack's show, it might be funny to cut him off.
I promise you, if I was on Ethan's stream and he bought a case of Peeps, I would interrupt him.
Yeah. This is true.
Guys, we're already done with the peeps. We're already over that. Unless you want me to do some taste testing,
No.
I'd rather go through a stack.
I actually always wanted you to see the way they interact with each other. They yell at each other. They find humor and everything. They don't get butt hurt like you just did.
I'm not butthurt. I'm not butthurt. I'm just pointing out a fact that I don't think I've ever seen so much disrespect. I don't know why I'm asking for respect. I'm never going to get it. I don't know why, but
He's made these people millions of dollars.
Hey,
Well,
Again, it's the money.
we,
Thank
we,
you.
we interrupt you because we respect you.
That's right.
you know
There
what?
you
You know
go.
what? You know what I think it is. Do you know what I think it is? Do you know what I think it is?
You know what it is? Here, I'll tell you because I'll
No,
interrupt you and I'll tell you.
No,
What-
I'm going
it's-
to
it's
tell you
this.
what I think it is.
Listen, real quick. Ethan
I won't
has
tell you.
respect. Ethan has respect. You have love.
Well, I was going to say something similar to that. I was going to say, you guys are friends. They're employees.
No.
In a way, yes.
We're not-
Well, yeah. I mean, they've made business friendships, maybe even friendships that would last. But yeah, business. They're business associates.
Yeah. All right. So let's see if we can finish up this
Fans.
really small stack of comics. I don't.
and then he points the camera at his crotch again.
It's not my crotch. It's my tummy.
Oh,
Not
that's
rub-
Pissed off because of the peach you've been eating.
Not real.
What can I say? This whole time, this whole thing has been comical.
That's done in the shopping area.
Okay. So as I was saying,
I had over $100 I was going to spend at your stall, and now I'm broke.
stall. Are you trying
What?
to say my
Store.
store? Stall.
Or whatever. I'm a flea market brat. I can't help it.
You called
Well,
it a stall. I mean, granted, it is right next to
At
the
least I
bathroom.
didn't call it a stool. Get it? No, that was just a good word. Never mind. Wah, wah, wah.
D wants to know how tall is Kodiak.
I'm 4'5".
No,
I'm
you're
still-
not.
I'm still
No, you're
taller
not.
than Andrew. Yep.
Shut up. No, he's not. He's
I think he is.
The I'm
belly.
actually considered not a tall guy because I'm like 5'11", 5'12", or something like that.
See, that's still taller than me, so shut up. All right, so back to the stack of comics. All right, we've got another. Wow, that was so weird. I paused because I just knew one of you was going to interrupt me. And you didn't.
But he didn't.
No, we didn't, and now we're gonna keep interrupting you again.
Yeah.
You missed your chance.
I know.
We are masters of our art.
All right, I
These
will
are
make it.
Stacking up.
Wait. We got to calm down because I want to see these books. I do want to see these books.
Do you want to see the rest of the books? You
Yeah,
sure?
it's a tantrum.
Because I can make a video of the books at a later time. So, man, I really went off keel this evening, didn't I? Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to do that. But so as I was saying, for the fifth time, we have Avengers number 3. I don't even want to do this anymore. I feel like such an ass. I feel like such an ass. I'm sorry, guys.
Why?
I'll just because I was acting stupid. Ugh.
But wait, how is that different than any other time?
Yeah, I know.
You're fine. You're
I
just
know.
upset because Avery left.
Yeah.
No,
You're all right. You seem a little down today, dude.
I'm tired. I'm tired.
This whole thing inside's getting to everybody.
Yeah, I think so. And he had the store to really, it was really coming along, looking great, and now he can't even do that.
Yeah, I did some work in the store this weekend. I had there's two. I have the door in the middle, and then I have two sets of windows on each side. And one set of windows, I had built these wooden boxes for displaying stuff in, and I used an old shelf that I had, which was actually like 8 inches wide. And where those two shelves fit, I couldn't bring the blinds all the way down, so the blinds only came down to the top of the boxes. So anybody walking by could actually still look into the store. So what I did is I literally took both boxes down and sawed them in half, or I sawed one of them in half, and then rebuilt them so that they were still the same size, but they were 4 inches wide instead of 8 inches wide, which meant I could actually lower down the blinds. So now when you walk by my store, the blinds are completely down, and I have stuff in the window, like I have original art in the window on one of them, but it's where if I was in the store doing stuff, people couldn't see me actually doing the stuff.
Mm.
So, which I like better because, I don't need everybody seeing what I'm doing in there. I could be building something or putting something together or going through something or use your imagination. And
All right, guys, I gotta drop out.
I don't think
I'm sorry.
we
Y'all
want to use
mad.
our imagination.
yeah,
Later, Kay.
that was the wrong.
Later.
Night, Kodiak.
Good night. You'll feel
Bye,
much better when
Kodiak.
the stores open back up.
Yeah, I think
Stop yelling at Kodiak and Todd. So mean. Jeez. It's peep withdrawal.
I'm not eating peeps, guys. I had one peep last night. One peep. Out of that package of peeps last night, I had one of
You
them.
don't have to lie to have friends.
I would never lie to my friends. More than
Don't lie
once.
to your friends.
More than once on a single live stream. Are you
I think that's incorrect too.
Kodiak, are you leaving? Are you actually leaving?
Are you trying to get me to go?
No,
If
I was.
you're trying to get me to go, I'll go. I mean,
Well,
if I'm
since
not
you-
wanted here, I'll leave.
Since
I
you and
understand when I'm not wanted.
since you and Todd are here, I was going to bring up my my theory again, my idea of what's going on with the comic world,
Okay.
industry.
Whoop,
All right,
I'm
you
good.
you share yours and I'll share mine because I brought some a little bit of research.
No, seriously, guys, it's 9:00. I gotta go.
All right.
I've been on
Later,
there.
buddy.
All right, later. Love you guys. Bye.
Later,
Bye.
Kodiak.
Okay, so here's my theory. Todd, Kodiak, and I were arguing over the response that we've seen from Marvel and DC in regards to the coronavirus, Diamond shutting down, stores shutting down, and so forth. And that response has been nothing, has really officially been nothing. And I started to think about it, and I brought up the point that maybe Marvel and DC are okay with Diamond folding, going under. And the reason I think they might be okay with it is because it would force them to find another distribution method or create their own distribution method. They're paying a lot of money to Diamond to distribute their books to comic book stores all over the world. They're owned by huge multi-mega billion-dollar corporations, AT&T and Disney. Disney and AT&T could create their own distribution network and completely cut Diamond out totally. Because if you think about it, it wasn't the comic book companies, it wasn't Marvel, it wasn't DC, it wasn't Image that put the brakes on everything. It was Diamond that put the brakes on everything first. Diamond said, we are not going to ship comics this following week. And then all the companies said, okay, well, now we got to hold off. We got to slow down. We got to pencils down and so forth. It wasn't them that started this. It was Diamond. Diamond buckled due to what's happening in the world. And I'm not saying they took the best response or they took the wrong response, but their lack of ability to be able to do this job is going to open up for the major comic book companies to find solutions, especially if something like this ever potentially was going to happen again. And I'm sure there's somebody in a Disney office, there's somebody in an AT&T office saying, listen, what if Diamond never opens back up again? What if we want to still get our comics out to the world, whether it's directly shipping to customers, whether it's shipping directly to stores or whatnot? And there may not be as many stores as there was before. But the potential is, the thought is, let's create something new. And they don't care if Diamond comes back online or not.
So, okay. Do you mind if I challenge that?
No, absolutely. Go ahead.
I think it's a good theory. I think it's incredible wishful thinking, and I think the truth of the matter, the reality of the matter, is that AT&T nor Disney give a rat's ass about comics. Period. Marvel does not care about comics. Period. They care about the movies and TV shows and licensing deals. I think. I don't think they care about. I think if they're thinking about Diamond at all, they're thinking about ways they can use it to escape publishing how can we still publish some of the few books we can publish the way we want to publish them, so we can still have some jobs without having to take any blame for it. I do not believe there is no chance, in my humble opinion, there is no chance on God's green earth that they are going to invent a distribution system that takes so much manpower and so much. You're giving them too much credit. I mean, having worked with some of these people, like, they just don't give a crap. I promise you, they don't care,
Right.
and they don't want to work. They don't want to work. They don't want to work hard. They just want to sit there and not lose their job, so they can continue to collect rent checks. And that's just the sad truth of it. So I think the big thing that Marvel's wanted to do for a long time is they've wanted to go all digital. The only thing standing in their way of going digital was the retailers. If the retailers go out of business, they can say, oh, well, it's not our fault that the retailer's out of business. It's COVID-19 or Diamond or whatever. We can blame it on, not the crappy product that we've been putting out. And then they can go all digital. And when you go all digital, that cuts down on printing, that cuts down on press. They can charge you whatever the hell they want to charge you, and it's all profit. It's a larger margin, I should say.
So you think they would be happy with going all digital?
I think they would be happy with going mostly digital, and I think they're going to follow DC. I think DC, for the major publishers, DC has kind of laid the groundwork. I think you're going to have YA novels in bookstores for a majority of it, and you're going to have like a Black Label style book for the other specialty shops and bookstores. And I don't think comic shops are going to be comic shops anymore. I think you're going to have some comic shops. They might be called comic shops, but I think if you actually go into the stores, the amount of comic in the comic shop is going to be less than 50%, probably less than 25%. It already is in those places. You can go to a comic shop and they have like one small wall of comics, and the rest of it are games and pops and everything else.
Right.
So I think that trend is going to continue, where they'll say, oh, we have 1,900 comic shops. But if you actually look at the amount of comics in those shops, it's going to be, anywhere between 10% and 30%. I don't think you're going to have stores that look like yours, Andrew. You are kind of the template for the other model, which is like, we don't care about those new books. We want comic shops. And what you're doing is you're following a record store model. So I think that's the future. I don't think I don't know if AT&T is going to. I don't think if AT&T. I don't know what's going to happen with AT&T. If I was AT&T, I'd be shutting DC Comics down, because again, they don't care about it, and none of these companies, the comic side of these companies, make no money. They lose money, and they're run by, for the most part, incompetent people. The talented people are either coasting and just kind of keeping their heads down, or they're long gone and they've moved on into different areas of entertainment, or they've retired, or something else. And I don't think you're going to see. I think the future is going to be, if I was Disney, I think the future is going to be, if they're going to license comics. And if there's no comic publishers to license comics to, and no one can afford to license Spider-Man, then they're going to make books, but they're going to keep a couple. It's going to be very, very small, and they're going to be very, very specialized. They'll go into Barnes and Noble and Borders, or they'll be on Amazon.com.
Are there still Borders out there?
I have no idea. Probably not.
It could be a combination of what you guys said. Going digital, and then for the individual issue, and then just putting out trades, physical. And technically, both those companies have distribution already. You throw them on the back of a truck going, or whatever, a bunch of comics going to, New York, right? So you just throw them on the back of one of their trucks already going there to distribute something else to the Disney store, But they make a stop by, this comic book store. Here's your stuff. And AT&T, I'm sure, has something, in their stores,
D made a point. He says, I don't think digital comics make enough money. But actually, if you could actually sell digital comics in bulk, like regular comic stores would sell a regular issue, you could probably make money because the overhead is so much lower because you're not printing anything. But I don't think the long-term comic fans are going to go all digital, period. And that's why I think either of these changes that we're thinking about, whether it's all new comics digitally or Marvel and DC do their own distribution, none of that's going to affect stores like mine.
No, you're actually
People don't depend on either of those things either way.
You're not going to be affected. But I can promise you with almost 100% certainty that DC and Marvel will not be just creating their own distribution channel. Like they may partner with somebody that's like a Diamond wannabe, but they're not going to. You're not going to have Marvel distribution or DC distributors. That would cost millions of dollars, and when your top selling book is like 50,000 copies or something, like it's just not going to happen. They make like $15 million a month in revenue, and I know that sounds like a lot, but it's nothing. I know individuals that make $15 million a month.
Wouldn't it be great if
Well, here's a question. For anybody know what they pay Diamond? Because then they can maybe just, for comic book shops, just ship them to them themselves. Stack of 5 comics. What's it that all that shipping is going to cost?
I think the breakdown is like the distributor gets like 15 to 20% of the cover price.
Yeah,
it's something like that because I know the stores pay either 50 to 60% for the book, and then the distributor gets a portion of that. And I think if they wanted to distribute their own comics, they would. Somebody in some back room somewhere within within AT&T and Disney is saying, "Hey, if we're going to do this, let's do it our way." But I think Todd makes a very valid point. They're not worried about, especially if a large chunk of the comic book ordering stores close and never reopen. What's the use of distributing anyway? I think the company that's going to get hurt the most in all of this is going to be Diamond. I think they buckled and.
Well, Diamond was going down anyway. I mean, Diamond was getting ready. I mean, you were at at C2E2 with me, Andrew. You remember the guy from Diamond specifically saying that comic shops were going to be gone in 10 years.
Well, I don't know if that was hyperbolic or.
No, what are you talking about? Because have you looked at the sales?
I think
look, you gotta get the love. Look, we all have a love for the medium,
There's always in my mind, and you have to separate this. There's 2 different type of comic book shops. There's comic book shops, and then there's comic book shops that rely on weekly comics. My store doesn't rely on weekly comics.
We're not talking about your store. Your store is.
I know.
D says, Andrew, are you going to run out of stock once a comic store is closed? And the answer is no, because there's a million boxes of back issues.
And there's also collectors selling their comics all the time. And if comic book stores, my local comic book store does not buy comics, does not trade or buy comics at all. He gets all of his back issues from a guy who does hotel conventions. All that stock that's in his store isn't even his. He sells it on consignment. He doesn't buy. If somebody has a large collection, he refers them to this guy who's willing to buy them. Stores like mine that will buy collections. If somebody brings in some comics, I'll definitely make them an offer, whether it's a couple of bucks for a couple of crappy issues, or if it's a box of 500 comics or 1,000 comics. I'll make you an offer. I mean, if you don't like it, you can always go someplace else. But I tell you what, there's nobody out there. There's very few stores out there buying back issues, but I will because I can sell them. Because
I think you are actually the template for the future of the comic shop. I think in fact, if you can do some research, you can actually find a few of the comic shops that opened last year, or this year. Was it this year? No, it was like late last year. And in fact, you could see in the comments when people were talking about it, like there were more and more people saying, "Yeah, the comic shop just opened, and all they do is back issues." And you're kind of on the forefront of that. You were one of the first that I had ever heard of thinking about it. So I think that's the new template. It's the record store. You know what I mean? Like you can go to the record store. There are people that print out new records, but they're going in there for the back issues.
There was one store that I know of that went with that template of They would get new comics just for pull customers, but they would sell back issues and graphic novels and kids comics. And they did that for a few years, and then they went out of business and closed. But I think that had more to do with overhead. You know, they had to have employees, they had to pay high rent and so forth. So that probably had more to do with it. Whereas me, I have no employees. It's just me by myself. And my overhead is very, very small compared to what we were looking at when we were talking about opening up a regular store with a regular storefront. I mean, I'm paying a third of what I was originally planning on paying for my storefront. So, and I'm taking what I can get and maximizing it. I'm making my store look more like a store where really it's just 3 little units in a flea market. But I'm using it and making it into a destination store for back issues of comics and other such stuff like Legos and Peeps and so forth.
I mean, comics are basically the future of comics are in the self-publishing. Whether you want to do crowdfunding or there are some other ways that people haven't caught on to yet. But the future of comics is indie. I think you're going to find more and more small publishers. It wouldn't surprise me if in 2020, maybe 2021, you start to see Boom and Image and some of these other indie IDW trying to do Indiegogo campaigns or Kickstarter campaigns to get the money to print the book before they put their own money up for it. Yeah. And I think that's going to be the future of it. And I think they're going to start to try to tie that into distributing to comic shops. It's like, oh, we got an order for 5, we got enough budget to get, we hit our minimum so we can print, how I say this. So like, 1,000 people purchased our book on Kickstarter, and with that money we can do a run of 5,000. So there's other 4,000 books we can take to conventions and ship through Diamond, right? And we'll do the solicitations because we already have 4,000 books already being, the extra 4K. Yeah. So I think you're going to see stuff like that. I don't think Marvel and DC, I think, are dead. They're not built for this. And I mean, I can only speak from my own personal experience, but the people that were there when I was there didn't care. I mean, the people that actually cared kind of stopped caring a long time ago, or had so much, self, what do you call it? They were so narcissistic that they couldn't really see the forest before the trees.
Right.
And everybody else, I mean, there were a lot of people there that are good people, but it's like a corporate job. They just got a job. You know what I mean? Like it's a novelty. You're working at Marvel and you get the little red logo on your LinkedIn page, and all your friends think it's really cool that you work for this company and you get invited to the premieres and shit. But that's kind of, other than that, it's just a corporate gig. Like they don't really, I mean, whether they stay or go, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just an office job. So, I think, you combine that with the fact that comics themselves, you can look at the numbers and say, oh, well, they made same amount of money in 2019 as the same amount of money in 2018, or I think the numbers were like 2015 and 2014, 2016. They made about the same money, even though there were like less comics made and bought. And that's because they were bumping up the price. The problem with that, and the problem that's been with that for the last several years, is you can only bump up the price so. And they know this. They're not stupid.
Right.
You can bump up the price so much. You can only say there is a cap of what people are willing to pay for less than 20 pages of story. You know what I mean? And at $5, I mean $5, $5.95 for a 20-page comic book is kind of insane. And then when you factor in the story being trash, it makes it impossible. Literally, nobody can buy it. I mean, it makes it very, very difficult to buy. Sooner or later, if they start bumping it up to $5.95, $6.95 cover price, nobody will buy it. Yeah. At a certain point, those numbers, instead of just making more money from less product, the whole thing collapses. Because, at a certain point, if you had to pay $8.95 for a stamp, you're like, why don't I just use FedEx?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think the potential for an indie boom is right around the corner, and I think CG has helped push that along. But the Diamond going under, Marvel and DC not putting out books, only means that this is the time that's ripe for independent comics to get out there, get seen, and flourish. So I mean, it's a positive thing in some aspects. But D asks a question. He says, Andrew, if you don't mind me asking, are you making a profit? I thought you were doing this for fun. Well, that's a hard question to answer, because I do have fun doing it. I do have fun with my store. Selling back issues and comics is for fun, but I'm using the store as a means of continuing to create my graphic novel and to continue to promote it, because everybody that walks in the store sees my art, and everybody who stops, I talk to them, I tell them about it, and I make an opportunity for a potential sale, a potential future sale. No small business makes money in the first 4 or 5 years. I was on track on paper to double what I made all of last year, this year, until the coronavirus shut everything down and kneecapped me. But you know what? That's okay, because I'm continuing to use my YouTube channel to continue to work on my book and to work on making things. So there will come a time in the future, in the near future, hopefully the real near future, where I will start making comics and money off of that than I will off of back issues and so forth. So
maybe. I mean, you could also you could make more sales off the back issues. But I guess the only thing I would say to that, D, just to add, as someone who knows Andrew and also runs businesses, I'm not taking a shot. I think Andrew does it for the love, for sure, and you don't open up a comic shop in 2020 because you think you're gonna be Bill Gates. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, anyone that dedicates themselves and works their ass off on something all day, every day, and doesn't get paid, that's a chore, not a business. So
that's true.
You have to.
I have made money at the store.
Yeah, the point of the business is to grow and is to get an ROI. Even if you put in $200 and get $201 back, that might not be a good return on your investment, but at least it's a return on your investment. And I think I can safely say, just from talking to Andrew, like, he has been making money. Like, it is a somewhat profitable business. If he's not, at least he's breaking even, if not making a little more. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into.
Well, and then of course, building all those shelves and putting up.
I'm not going to go into specifics, but my family is fed every night. We're not going into heavy debt, and we're not starving because the store isn't making sales.
Right. Unless you're independently wealthy, the business has to make some kind of money. Otherwise, it's just eating away at your pocket.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a if you didn't want to make money at it and turn it into a business, then what you should have is a storage space.
Yeah.
True.
Well, he's got to be at least breaking even with all the shelving and stuff that he builds and all that, because that costs money too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. But there's also a level of enjoyment that I get out of being in the store, building and adding to the store, where yes, it costs money, yes, it takes time, yes, it takes blood, sweat, and tears for some of the things, but if I hated it and despised it, I would never have done it in the first place. But I enjoy doing it. I like going into the store and thinking, okay, I want to use this space for something else, and designing and sitting down, going to Home Depot, picking up some tools, picking up some materials, and building stuff, and then putting it up there, and then say, okay, I don't like this, and do something different. It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of money or effort for me, because I enjoy it, So, but needless to say, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But Todd did bring up something very, very important that I want to focus on another stream, and that's conventions. Because he mentioned, the small independent guy making enough money to print 5,000 books, sending out the 1,000, and having the 4,000 to go to conventions. Well, that's a huge, huge question mark right now, with whether or not conventions are even going to be happening, not just this year, but going into the future. But I'd like to talk about that another time.
Wait.
Yes, Todd.
Wait. Before you hang up for the episode.
Okay.
Before you go away, because I told you I brought a little bit of research, and it ties into this conversation.
Okay.
And I think you'll enjoy it, because
you've been talking this entire time without sharing any of your knowledge with us. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I have shared none of my knowledge. I am selfish in my knowledge keeping.
All right.
Let me share this with you.
Okay.
Me,
You're actually going to share something?
I am.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me when you can see it.
We can see it.
You see, it says supercharged.
Yep.
So I got this today. I believe you guys are the only. This is an exclusive, hot off the presses for your channel.
You do realize you're showing your entire screen, right?
Oh, that's not cool. That's not what I wanted to do at all. Let me stop sharing. That's bullshit.
I don't know what that was, but okay.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's nothing crazy. It's just
No. But I figured you didn't realize you were sharing
I
everything.
didn't know that I was sharing all that. Let me share my application window. There we go.
Yeah. Plus, I'm looking at it now on the live stream. You can't. Everything's so blurry. You can't tell what it even says. So
It doesn't matter. No, it really is not. It's not proprietary. It's fine.
okay.
Let me share.
I'll clip
Okay.
that out of the video when I make it into another
It
video.
doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Okay.
How's that?
Share.
So you can supercharged.
Share with us, Kimosabi.
Comics and comic art category breaks records as superhero culture stays strong. Comics and comic art had a spectacular year. This is brand new. I just got this today.
Okay.
Heritage Auctions says a new record with its comics and comic art category department registered sales of more than $79.3 million in 2019. It's up more than $20 million from 2018, which also saw a record-setting total of $58.5 million. Our bidder base of collectors, both seasoned and new, has been expanding at a rate beyond our most optimistic expectations. Comic books, comic art, and related memorabilia have never been more popular.
Mhm.
Okay, now I'm just going to scroll down. They think, so here's the interesting thing, the two explanations they have. They think thanks to movies, TV shows, and games inspired by Marvel, DC, and other comic book publishers, comic characters enjoying unprecedented international appeal among all age groups, demographics, especially millennials and younger. They're not buying
Really?
comics, they're buying comic art, and they're collecting. But here's the interesting thing. Another explanation could be that the baby boomer generation has hit critical mass of nostalgia and disposable income, a position that handily explains a similar rise in popularity enjoyed by retro and vintage science fiction art. That's from Forbes. Whatever the answer, more and more collectors, old and new, are getting the itch to buy comics. Now, they're not buying new comics, they're buying and they're investing in the valuable original art and the collectible things. And this is a perfect example of what I've been talking about forever. They hit it towards the baby boomer generation, hitting critical mass of nostalgia, disposable income, which is probably true. But it also, I mean, we're not baby boomers and we're not millennials or younger.
Right.
We're that Gen X, Gen Y, and we're in the same position where I have more money now. I'm not loaded, but I've got more money now than I did in my 20s for sure. And I have, if I see something and it's something for sale and it's like $1,000 and I have it to spend and I find value in it, I'll drop it. I'll purchase it. And that is it. I think here's the problem with comics is when I can look at an original piece of art or a slab book and say, man, that costs $500 or that costs $1,000. Man, I really want it. Can I get it? I don't really know. Should I do it? And I make that decision. But then when I go to a comic shop and I see a $3.95 comic and I'm like, that's trash, I'll never pick it up.
Right.
Rather, it's easier for me to spend $500, $1,000, $2,000 on something that has a passion and a love and true support, fan support behind it, as opposed to something that doesn't.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you remember exactly when you stopped buying weekly comics and started buying original art, trade paperbacks, hardcover graphic novel collections, and anything but monthly comics?
It was a slow burn because I'm a Wednesdays child. I went to the comic shop every day, hell or high water, most of my life. It was up until 2009, I will say. And that was less. It was
way longer than I did.
Yeah, I was going up to 2009, maybe 2008, 2009, and that was only because the reason I stopped was only because I was starting to put together my own businesses, and I was dead broke, and I was struggling, like I was paying my rent and all that kind of stuff, but I was still working really hard, and just kind of every penny that I earned, I was trying to put back into my businesses. And I didn't start really getting back into the books until 2011, which is when I started working at Marvel.
Right.
So
right.
And then that was really not. I can't even, to be completely fair, I can't even say that I wasn't buying the books at that point. I was just getting stacks of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that got me back into it, and that's when I kind of saw that there was still some really good art out there, and there's some really good stories, and that got me back into it. But even before 2009. I was buying less comics and more graphic novels. I've never been totally a wait for the trade guy. Like if I see a book, I'm going to get the book and the trade. But it kind of petered out for a few years, and then actually working at Marvel got me back into it. But then by the time I left, which was only 2 years, like I was done. Like, I was absolutely out, and I was like, and then there was a period of maybe 2 or 3 years again where I didn't go to I wouldn't go to the comic shop. I was buying previews.
Right. Same here. I never stopped buying
previews. So if I went to the comic shop, I always left with the new previews. So I always purchased something. But for a good 2 years, I didn't purchase any books. I just only bought previews, and I was like, I'm looking through stuff, trying to find stuff that I want. And I'd find something here or there, but then I'd forget about it, or it never came out, or it wasn't as good when it came out, blah, blah. And then it was really only like last year before, where I started buying it. Like I said, okay, I started looking at the auction stuff. Really just to get inspired, kind of like I was looking at the auction stuff the same way I was looking at previews, really.
Yeah.
But then I started seeing stuff that I was like, holy crap. Like, the minute you see a page from like 1990, whatever nostalgia area, when you're like, oh my God, I love that guy. I love that girl. I love that art. I love that, whatever it is. Like once you see that object and you're like, oh my God, I cannot believe somebody is selling that thing. Then all of a sudden it kicks in, and you're like, you know what? I got to see if I can get it.
Now I've had a lot of people surprised. They'll come into the store, and I've had this question asked of me a lot. They'll say, "Wow, you have a comic book store. You must have a really big collection of comics." I said, "Yeah, I know. You're looking at them. That's what the store is. This is my collection of comics."
Yeah.
Like, really? I says, "Yeah." I said, I stopped buying single issue comics years and years ago when I started buying original art. And the reason is you could have this issue and it's fantastic. It's super rare and it's worth $20, $30, $40. That's great. But to have an original page of art from that book, that's something that is just inconceivably cool in the fact that you have a one of a kind, nobody else in the world has it. And it doesn't matter if it's a crappy book or if it's a story you enjoyed or from a comic you liked or an artist you like. It's so valuable to you than it is to anybody else. And I stopped buying monthly comics a long time ago, and my collecting art kind of shifted around 2011 when I started focusing on certain things. Like when I would go get an original sketch, it would be one of those three categories. It would either be Batgirl, who's my favorite character, it would be one of my characters, or it would be the artist's characters. So I switched my focus. Prior to that, I was just randomly buying whatever I thought looked cool and I liked. But when it came to original art, I looked for splash pages or half splash pages because I love those. And so, I mean, I had a focus, but I don't buy comics anymore. There's some that I if I'm going to buy a comic nowadays, it's going to be in either a hardcover collected edition, because that's what I'd like to put on my shelf and keep. So I don't buy comics anymore to buy comics.
I'll tell you, this also ties in, everything we're talking about ties into the other problem that modern comics have. The reason why these auctions are going so well and the auctions are selling so good. And I don't know if you caught those numbers. Just as a comparison, the comic industry last year made $100 million a year for the American comics, maybe a little less. Heritage by itself is about that. and it's probably more profitable. So that should tell you, but the deal is, and why you also know why this is a big problem for the comic industry, is that nothing on any of these auction sites has anything to do with anything in the last 10 years.
Right.
None of it. And it's because the books they're putting out now, the content they're putting out now is, one, it's not memorable. And two, there isn't a big enough audience that's going to remember it 25 years from now to give a shit about it. Like Hickman's X-Men run, it might be phenomenal, but there's not a big enough audience anymore that's going to recognize those pages in 30 years.
And that's also if the pages even exist. Some of that may be digital art, and you can't buy it.
That's right.
You know?
But you know what? You put up a McFarlane Spider-Man, and there's 1 million people out there right now, at least 1 million, if not more, that are like, I remember that book.
Oh yeah.
And that is why that work. If you ask me personally, and I'm not the only one. This is not a way out there statement. If you have $1,000 and you can either go to the comic shop and buy $1,000 worth of comics, or you can buy one piece of original art, I'm buying that original piece of art because it's more of an investment. It's more of you're going to get more enjoyment out of it. It's going to bring you more joy, and it's something that your kids, one day could sell or give away or pass on to their kids.
Well, that's what I'm
secretly do that with comics.
That's what I'm secretly trying to do to all my comic book collectors that come into my store and buy comics, is to convert them to buying original art, because there's no store in this town that sells original art but me. I have original pages, I have original sketches, I have original art from Hero and other stuff, but nobody else sells that stuff. And I want to share with people the stuff that they never, ever, ever see if they just go into a regular comic book store. Mm-hmm. I want to be special in that way. And like I've said, once I can start selling original art, especially my own, it's an unlimited resource because I can continue to make original art. And I have sold some original art in the store. I've sold some stuff of my own. I've also sold some other pieces of my collection, which is cool. I like sharing that stuff with people. But that's the thing that will make my store different and stand out and be different from others.
Yep.
So, well, Todd, I appreciate you sharing this little gem with us.
Pretty interesting, right? It's pretty interesting. Like I think it's just such a stark contrast with all this bitching that Marvel and DC and all these comic people are doing about, the comic industry is fine, but we ran out of cash in less than 2 weeks, and it wasn't us, it was the coronavirus. Meanwhile, here's an article from the same industry, just a different sales side of the industry, and it's doubled. It's grown $20 million more this year. Last year was a record. 2019 was a record. 2018 was a record. Do you know what I mean? They're going gangbusters, and you can even see when there's an artwork up there that's been that's hit auction a few times, and you look at the histories, these pieces are going up in value, and it's not, the people who love comics are still out there. They're just not stupid enough to buy your crappy, untalented book. It's just not going to happen.
All right. Well,
wait. Sorry, you got a couple.
I know. I'm going to get there. Just a second.
Okay.
We're going to wrap up, but before we do, since we're speaking of original art, I'd like to get Rick Piper in here to say a little bit about where you could find his original art, because if he can sell some of it, it's a great thing, and you guys could definitely check out what he's doing. So, Rick, tell us a little bit about where people can find you and your original art.
Well, they can find my original art over on my channel of Cross Comics. Also, I am on Twitter. I have a whole bucket load of original art that I've been drawing on my channel for about the last 2 years. Some of them better than others, like this fabulous Wolverine piece, which is only on 60-pound paper, but I'm willing to let it go for $20, and that includes shipping. So,
now, are you taking commissions or anything like that?
Oh, of course. I'm always taking commissions.
All right. Excellent.
This was just done today on my channel. And, of course, they can get some original art over on my campaign on Indiegogo. They can get some original Canadian Shield art there. either if they purchase a sketch, the sketch thing, the sketch one, the sketch perk, or of course whether they purchase a page from the book tier.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm bringing up the project and going to put it in the comments so you all can go check that out. It's still in demand at this moment, so very cool, very cool. Now, D and Blue Samurai Zero ask a couple of questions of Todd, so I'd figure I'd give him a second to answer. D says, Todd, and it's two Ds, Todd. Just D loves things so much that he took one of your D's away from
I
your
don't
name.
care. I like you can spell it however you want.
He says, does that total comic sales include toys and clothing, not just comics?
That is an awesome question, and it is that $79.3 million is specifically for the comics and comic art department.
And
So,
that includes comic books. Comic
yes,
books. as well.
comics as in comic
No,
book
no,
and comic art.
he might mean the comic book sales, the 100 million or whatever that you were talking about. That probably doesn't include the clothes and all that, I would guess.
Oh, total comic
Or
sales.
toys.
Yeah. So the number that I've heard tossed around. So it's kind of an estimate because the number they like to push around is $1 billion. But the $1 billion includes manga. It includes all kinds of stuff.
It includes stuff that
does
is like,
include. I
yeah,
believe that also includes all the toys and clothing. Although I could be mistaken. I think the number that pretty much everyone agrees on is that the actual comic books themselves make about 100 million a year, or about 10, a little less, somewhere between 8 and 9 million a month. But you also have to figure that that's across like how many hundreds of comics that they're pushing out every single week.
and that's also sales to stores, not sales to customers.
Right.
Too.
That's
the other thing that
so it's the stores giving the publishers $100 million.
All right, and then Blue Samurai Zero says, "Sorry, I'm late and ignorant." Todd, which 2 Ds, very good, thank you, man. Says, "What did you do at Marvel? Color, paperwork, stapling? Pretty sure you cleaned the bathrooms and got people coffee, stuff like that."
I did. All I did was that. Yes. No, I was actually I was actually the last traditional artist at Marvel. So we had I was in the bullpen. We were still digital, or most of them were digital. I had my animation table, and I was actually brought in to create, write, and direct an animated property for them for their online stuff. So I did that for a couple years. I got to write, direct, and animate. Like, I believe I'm the only one to ever have done that, like an original intellectual property for Marvel that way. You
were also involved in a lot of their online videos and stuff like that. So yeah, he helped out with a lot of that stuff. So you didn't actually work on a comic property, but you worked for Marvel for their website and so forth.
I was. I didn't. Well, it wasn't specifically for the website. We did a lot of video stuff. I was technically in the digital media department. So because they didn't have like an original art department, but I was basically doing 2D hand-drawn animated, hand-drawn cell animation, working on pilots and working on skits and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can actually see some of his work on. Don't you still have videos that are up on the Marvel channel?
Yeah,
Marvel YouTube channel, stuff that you work on. Aren't you in some of those?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. He's actually in some of those videos. So.
Yeah, my scripts got butchered pretty hard. They brought me in because I had worked at Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, and so they liked the pitch. But this is why I know they're not worried. They're not ever going to do distribution because there was no guts. I got my script torn up. So like it's very hard to get criticized, to see like critical comments when you agree with the comments.
Aren't you also one of the creators that was responsible for the re-rise of Squirrel Girl?
I was. I brought back. I was the one, unfortunately, I guess. I don't know. We didn't. It was a different design, but we brought back. So I brought back Squirrel Girl. I brought back Howard the Duck, who they later used. That was before they put him in the movies.
The movies.
All the movies.
Yep.
And then we brought back we brought back a whole bunch of people.
Todd was working on an animated digital series for Marvel that was bringing in like Z-lister characters, and Squirrel Girl, Howard the Duck, and all were part of it. And how many episodes actually got made?
Well, we got the pilot, and then we got to the
pilot.
second. Basically, what ended up happening is it took a tremendous amount. I mean, one day I'll tell you the story. I mean, I think Andrew, you know the story, but
Oh, I do. If you want to wait for another time, that's fine.
we'll definitely tell it another time. But basically, it took a lot of work to actually get it made, more work than it was worth to me. Because I had an animation studio at the time, like my own studio, and I actually closed it so I could work at Marvel. So it took way too long to get the pilot done, in my humble opinion. And when we started working on the second episode, it was really clear that nothing was going to change in terms of like the time it was going to take to get the second episode out. So we got the second episode. I got most of the animation, but and it was never released. So it was basically the pilot, and then we did a bunch of I ended up doing like a bunch of small stuff, like some sketches. I did like a short with Magneto and some other cool stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do like a sit down interview with Todd where he shows and tells a little bit about what he did back in those days. But he's legit, guys, absolutely legit. Blue Samurai Zero says, "Nice, respectable."
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
He's my only
You're
friend.
the only one that respects it. I love it.
Only one. And Richard says, "What the hell? No peeps tonight? Hello, Andrew. Hope all is well. Everything is good, and there were lots of peeps in this episode." You go back and watch it. There's boxes of it. Oh. D's thrown you under the bus, dude. He says, Todd, did you do Dr. Justice and the J? It's supposed to be team, but yeah. No. Todd, no. He wasn't. He was long gone from Marvel when that happened, so.
I had to at least try. I mean, no, I tried to have Wolverine crap himself when he jumped out of an airplane.
Yes, I remember that. And they said no to that, didn't they?
Yeah, they didn't see the humor and having like going inside of Wolverine's digestive tract as he with like a little wolvie poo.
Yep.
And we had the wee wee pad, anyway, yeah, we had.
Yeah, we'll save that for the interview. We'll save it for the interview. Richard says, "What Todd is this? This is Todd McFarlane, don't you know?"
Todd McFarlane. That's me.
That's not Todd McFarlane.
Not at all.
All right, guys, we've gone almost 2 hours. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate you all coming by. To all my guests who came in earlier and then abandoned because they're pussies, see y'all next time. But Rick, thank you so much for sticking in. Appreciate it. Todd, thank you for coming, and we'll definitely have further conversations in the future. But I'm glad we got a chance to talk about some things, and part of me thinks Todd's full of crap and that I'm right. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. But then again, some of the things he did say kind of make a little bit of sense. It's really going to hurt. It's really going to cut down on my bathroom reading if I don't have physical copies in my hand, because I'm not taking an iPad or a phone into the bathroom to read comics. Just not going to happen.
Whatever. You could always get those nice brand new comics and use them you could read them and use them as toilet paper.
Yeah, whatever. All right, everybody. Good night. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say this because I totally forgot about Saturday. I did not live stream simply because I was actually spending time with the wife. We were watching movies and had a really great dinner together. And I looked over and there was like an hour left in the movie we were watching. I said, "Honey, what time is it?" She says, "It's 10 after 8." And I'm like, screw it. No live stream tonight. My whole thing about live streaming every night, I'm going to try to do at least 5 live streams a week. That's my new goal. So it may not be every night, but the goal is 5 times. So that I think that's a little bit more reasonable. So I appreciate everybody out there.
Since you got a little bit more time on Saturdays and Sundays now?
Yeah, well, I like streaming on Sunday because it was just me by myself, but I had a lot of fun and it was a really good show and you guys missed out. So yeah, my wife just said, yeah, he enjoys himself whether he has people watching him or not. Oh,
we do not want to know about him enjoying himself.
Blue Samurai says, "What is a wife? Never heard of such a thing." Yeah, dude, stay away from him as much as possible. Though they're nothing but trouble. All right, everybody. Good night. Love you all, and I'll see you hopefully tomorrow, if not Wednesday. Definitely.
Definitely.
Later.